Hello, greetings, and welcome back to the Octopus Movement podcast, where we highlight nonlinear thinkers from around the world and discuss their connection to the octopus movements and their efforts to solve the world's seemingly unsolvable problems. I'm your host, Grant Harris. I'm a fellow nonlinear thinker, consultant, author, and board member. And today I have the pleasure of interviewing a very special guest, Ms. Yvonne Dam. And Yvonne comes to us. She is a global traveler, and we'll get into that here in a moment. But very excited to talk to Yvonne about her life as a CEO, her life as a business coach, and how she has transformed the lives of other CEOs and other working professionals, business owners and founders with a unique framework. And if any of you know me, I love a good framework. T.I.M.E, T-I-M-E, and we'll get into the details of what that is and what it's all about. But very much looking forward to this conversation because everyone only gets a finite amount of time. How do we use it? How do we manage it? How do we seemingly make it last longer, and not just last longer, but how do we be better with it? So all of these are things that Yvonne is a specialist in. Very much looking forward to the conversation. Yvonne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Grant. It's amazing to be here.
Yeah. Well, I hear that you were in Spain, and in the green room before we got on, you were telling me more about all of your travels around the world. But please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, why you do it, and what makes the work that you do so important and special.
Right. So I'm Yvonne. I'm the founder of Amaze Yourself, and I'm an executive business coach. And what we do is we help driven business owners, entrepreneurs, and CEOs to grow their business to the next level. But what makes us unique is that we focus on you growing your business in less time. So on average, when people work with us one-on-one, they grow their income by 30% and reduce their working hours by 20%. And I absolutely love what I do. I work with a very diverse set of clients. And I am part of the Octopus movement. I'm a founding member, and I'm part of the neurodiversity. Sorry, I forgot the precise name, but I'm part of the board where we in Europe are working on getting more companies also to understand what neurodiversity is and to make the workplace better for people who are neurodivergent.
I think it's called. Yvonne, I think it's called "Pick My Brain," something
Yes,
like that. Yeah.
neurodiverse brain. Yes, something. I have to look it up. Yeah, and I'm very passionate about it. And I must say, before I met Perry, the founder of the Octopus movement, I knew that I was a multi-potentialite. And if you watch this but you don't know what it is, it's basically you have a very broad interest and you are very quickly to make yourself kind of a expert in a certain topic, but you also get very quickly bored and then you hop onto the next and hop onto the next. You've got a very broad interest and you know a lot about certain topics, but you're not a deep dive expert. That's me. That's why I've always worked on projects while I was in the corporate world, and that's why I do what I do. But most of my clients are that as well. And then when I had a conversation with Perry, he told me that what he found is that multi-potentialites are very often neurodiverse. And I must say, that kind of made me think about my clients. And then I realized that basically 90%, if not 100% of my clients are neurodiverse as well. But I offer a judgment-free space. I see a human. So I never realized it because I don't judge. I don't care is not the right word because I care about the person, but I don't care about the label. I just want you to thrive in whatever you do. So that's a very long roundabout way to say you why I'm very happy to be here, and yeah, to I think it really aligns with my clientele.
Well, you have a global clientele. You mentioned you've worked and lived in several locations around the world. Very interested to hear more about those different locations because from a cultural perspective and all the different ways that the human brain works and all the different ways that humans intersect with each other in different capacities and different cultures. That's just from a human perspective, and then you throw in all the different workplace culture expectations in different regions of the world. So it would be helpful if you could help me live vicariously through you, through all the places that you've been able to do work, and then walk us through how you transformed your approach, because the vast regions that you've done work, they're very different, and each client is different. So if you could walk us through that'd be helpful.
Sure. So I am Dutch from origin, as you may already picked up on the accent. And I lived in the United States, in New York City. I lived in Johannesburg, South Africa. Those were two things on my own. And then 12 years ago, we as a family, myself, my husband, and my daughter, we moved to South Africa, to Durban, where we lived for 3 years. After that, we moved to London, the United Kingdom, where we lived for 3 years. Then we went back to the Netherlands. And then we moved to Spain, where we are right now, in Barcelona. And I think what for me, the biggest thing is that there's a saying, it's about I never can say that, reciprocity.
Yes.
And the saying is, do to another what you want them to do to you. But I don't believe that, because you and I are different. So, for example, you may like chicken and I may like pork. So if I would serve you pork, because that's what I would do for me, you would be like, no, I like chicken. This is a very simple example, but you understand that it goes way beyond that. And one of my main values is respect. So I always, in my interaction with others, always try to find out what is important to them. And that's in general in life. That's what I've learned from living all over. But I work with clients from all over the world. And it's always finding out what drives them, what's important to them, and how do they want to run their business and their life. And that last one, how you want to do it, is so often derailed by society, because they tell us we have to do certain things in a certain way. Or they tell us, if you follow these 5 steps, you're going to make 1 million in 6 weeks, right? So a lot of my clients are often pulled into all directions because they hear something new. Oh, you have to host podcasts. Great. Oh, rather do webinars. Oh, great. Oh, but what about Instagram? Oh, and TikTok. And then because they're enthusiastic and they like everything, they do everything. And then they come to me and they go like, I'm overwhelmed. So it's very much like, what works for you? What do you do well? What do you like to do? And let's do more of that. And that's then the easiest way to make more money and grow your business as well.
Mm, mm. Thank you for that. So I would love it. It seemed like that you were getting into a structured approach. Let's talk about time. We've obviously been talking about time theoretically in terms of days, week, months, years, but your time framework. So break that down. What does time mean? What are the steps? What does it look like? Where did this framework come from? Was it an epiphany that you had somewhere? And before you do that, I can definitely hear and pick up on a few things in your accent. Not so much Spanish. I don't hear that. I do hear Netherlands. and I do hear South Africa in your accent. And the only reason I can pick up Netherlands at this point is I owe that to the octopus movement because a lot of people I speak to happen to be Dutch. So I pick up on that a little bit, and I enjoy your accent. So, but walk us through time, that framework, and how it is applied to your clientele. That'd be great.
Sure. So when people work with me, I always start with the T, which stands for target. So what is it that you want to reach? Where do you want to grow? Do you want to sell your business? Do you just want to enjoy it? What do you have in mind? With that, we make a plan. And a plan can just give you direction, or it can be very like, okay, this is the steps you need to take. That's the T. So you start with the end in mind, like Stephen Covey says, or you program your GPS. That's where I need to go. Then it's all great to have a plan or to know where you want to go, but how to get there. So the I stands for implementation, because my experience, and I've done this work for over 30 years. I always try to say that a bit softer so you don't hear how old I am. But my experience is that implementation is where it often derails, right? We have a plan, we want to go somewhere, and then life happens or something else, and it's not happening. So that's why the implementation. Then the M stands for monetization. Because when you have your own business, in the end of the day, you do it to make more money. Even when you want to make more impact or want to help more people, you're not having a hobby. You're doing it to get some kind of a reward. So monetization. And I like to help you to get there in the easiest, fastest way that aligns with your goals and your values. And then we come to the E, which stands for elevation. Because currently you are at a certain level, but if you want to level up, it needs something different from you. You need to elevate, and with that, you'll elevate your business. That's the framework. And then, because every individual is different, we always tweak it to what they need, so that you still feel like, hey, this is my way of doing it, and it's not some cookie cutter approach, but this is basically what we do. We make out where you want to go, we help you implement to get there, we help you to make more money, and we help you to elevate also mindset wise, so you feel better and it gets easier, especially when we're no longer together.
Wow, thank you. So time, target, implement, monetize, and elevate. Thank you for breaking it down. I am the way that my brain works. I always appreciate a framework and a structure, and I've been able to build a couple myself in different realms, working with organizational leaders. So I appreciate your approach to using a framework. So put us on the couch, so to speak, or put us in a consultation. What do those conversations look like? You mentioned the client that you talk to usually comes to you and eventually is overwhelmed because what's my social media strategy and which one do I use? Or what's my connection strategy with education and learning? Is it a webinar? Is it a podcast? So they come with all these ideas. And then you break this down into your framework here, but talk to me like I'm your next CEO.
Sure.
What do those questions look like to help uh, lead the client to their own realization versus you just spoon feeding them an answer, so to speak?
Okay, I can give you an example, or if you, Brett, have like a question, time-wise or organization-wise, let me know and we do it live. It's up to you.
Yeah. Let's go live. Let's be in it.
Okay.
Not to put you on the hot spot, but you've been doing this for a long time, and
Yeah.
there's nothing that I can throw at you that you have not seen. So I will sit in the hot seat myself. I'm an organizational leader. I'm a CEO. Right now, my problem is, I'm not getting enough clients.
Mhm.
The clients that I do get, I enjoy working with them. I enjoy providing the service that I provide, but customer acquisition is difficult for me. I don't know who I should be going after and what target market I should be going after to
Mhm.
create a sustainable pipeline. Like, where do I go?
Right. Okay. So the I love that you already broke your questions down in two, right? Because you started with, I actually want to attract more clients, and then you said, but I don't really know who my ideal client is.
Mm.
With that, it almost sounds to me like you feel that if you have your ideal client, it becomes easier. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I have not been able to find an ideal one. I get one meaning my segment, and I look at it as I've hit a plateau in terms of my monetization, meaning how much these types of clients will pay. And I've hit that plateau, and in order for my business to grow, I need to be able to get to the next level in terms of what a client is willing to pay. But
Yeah.
I have not been able to hit that target yet in terms of who that client is.
And talk to me about who were your past clients. Who have you worked with the most?
Mostly nonprofits, small to mid-size.
Mm-hmm.
That's been my wheelhouse, my
Mm-hmm.
comfort area. But again, with growth, I always like to say you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you're going to grow. So
True.
mostly small to medium-sized nonprofits. I'm okay still working with nonprofits, but I
Mhm.
think that I would like to add a for-profit, but that would be a new venture for me.
Okay. So a for-profit. And then do you have any specific industry you feel like excited about, or do you have any, like past experience that sets you up for a certain industry that you feel compelled to?
Yeah, mostly government contracting, government consulting, and government can be state and local. Doesn't always have to be federal, but usually government types of entities.
Okay. I'm so almost like want to make notes. Okay, so it's government,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so do you have, you've worked with them, that's what you're telling me.
Yeah,
Okay, so you have still a network.
yeah.
Okay, well, have you reached out to them?
Probably not like I could. And that's why I come to you. Awesome. See, light bulb moment, utilizing my current network better
Yeah,
than I already am.
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Yvonne. I appreciate you humoring me a bit. I like to
Mhm.
do role plays every once in a while, so I appreciate that. So, with your, you say you have gone around the world with your family. How has your work impacted your time, your lifestyle? Do you utilize these principles within your own workday? What does that look like for you? Because you say you came from the corporate world and now you do this for yourself and you do this work for other clients.
Yeah.
Uh, but I imagine that there was a time where you maybe did not manage your time very well. And you said, this is not good. I need to make a change. But you tell me.
Yeah. Well, it's very true. I must admit, I used to be a workaholic, and I worked tremendous hours. I've even been burnt out, and so severely that I had to sit on the couch for a couple of months. Um, and I always people always ask me what was the moment then things changed. Did it change as soon as you start your company? But I don't know about you. But when I started my company, all of a sudden I had to do everything myself. So where I normally would go to IT support, now I was IT support, and I didn't like that, but I had to figure it out. So in the beginning, I just worked so much, and then I decided I don't want this. I want it to be different, and I want to live the life that I tell my clients they can have. So I started to take it seriously. And the one thing I have discovered is that, or I didn't discover it, but I know, is I really do not like planning a lot. And most of my clients, they don't like very, rigid approaches, and they don't like rigid planning because that's why, I don't know, they might be too non-linear, but I don't
Yeah.
like. So I also have let go of the 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 or whatever principle. So as an example, today I just started working at 4 p.m. and the rest of the day I had lunch with my husband in the sun, and I had an amazing morning just for me. So that's what I do. I carve out a lot of my afternoons to be with my daughter. I sometimes work at night because I work with a lot of people that are in the States, but then I'm free in the morning or in the afternoon. And very important for me is, because I am quite driven and I am quite eager to grow, is that I make sure that I plan in fun activities. So for me, a fun activity is to go out. And even if I like sit in a wine cafe and do a cold air, I already feel better. So that's what keeping me sane. It's like, having my own schedule, not schedule too much, because then I kind of like break free, and make
Yeah,
sure
yeah,
that I have fun, and go away. So yeah, that's how I do it.
that's awesome. Now, how much of that is attributed to the geographical location and the regions that you live in? Obviously, Europe and Spain, you have different
Mm.
Spaniards, from what I told, don't eat dinner until like 9 o'clock at night. They're just getting their evening started. So all of these different London may mirror America more in terms of their working style and all of that. But how much is that attributed to a combination of your uh, determination to live your lifestyle that way in the region that you live in? Is there a tug of war between those two, or is it helpful that you live in those types of areas?
I love your question. Well, it's almost 90% determination, if not 100%. This is just what I've chosen. And it's also something that I need to be aware of, because my nature is, I love my work, I love to grow. So, work, work, work. No, it's not what I want. So I have to always keep myself in check. But you're right, Spain, 9 o'clock dinner is very normal here. Siesta from 1:30 till 5:30 is very normal. Just starting your day. And I must say, it is quite nice because the sun is there. It's just, people don't stress, people don't hurry, even if you want them to. Um, and they just enjoy life. They share a table with friends. They eat tapas. It's just, they have a glass of wine. It really helps. That's why we host a retreat. I'm hosting a retreat coming up in Spain, so people can experience it. But even when I travel back to New York, which I do on a regular basis, it's still my choice not to get swept in like, whoo, because I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah,
It's not worth it.
awesome. Well, we're coming down the home stretch, and I'd love to hear um, some success stories, like a success story with a client that was disheveled, discombobulated. They spent all their time burnout. They're working 24/7, and walk us through the progression of that particular client.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be a specific one for privacy, etc. But walk us through the progression of a client that goes from lack of time management, not living the life that they would want to live, and being on the grind, I'll sleep when I die kind of mindset, towards what you would have them be and become, not only from a business perspective, but also from a human perspective.
Yeah. So I'll give you the example of Heather. Heather and I started working together, well, before the end of the year. And she has two businesses. She's an amazing person. She has a social media marketing agency, as well as a water filtration agency. And when she came to me, she felt like she hit a plateau. So she could work, 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 but it didn't make a difference. And she felt quite overwhelmed with all that was happening. And she wasn't pleased with the money that was coming in. She would work weekends as well, evenings, so she would basically work nonstop. And what we did together was look at, hey, what's going on in your one business? What's going on in your other business? And how can we solve this so you actually get some time back? So what we found was that in one business, the water filtration business, there were quite a few things that needed to be set up, which was quite easily outsourced. To be able to get to that outsourcing part, it was pivotal to make some more money because then it's easier to hire someone. So when we looked at her consulting, her marketing consulting, it was quite clear that she could make more money by offering a different service to a higher paying clientele. And it's like that almost worked instantly. With that, she was able to make more money and hire someone to, raise the other business. So she had then two blooming businesses. We made a plan for her, and in 6 weeks, she doubled her business. And that has been just continued to grow. She now has a business partner in one business, and it's just like taking off. By simply looking at what's going on, what does work for you, what do you need to stop, because people often forget that, and then how can we make it easier for you to work less. And then I need to tell you as well, Saturday and Sunday she doesn't work anymore. Monday is her CEO day, where she has a silence day. If she wants to work, she does. If she doesn't, she doesn't. And then the other days are full on.
Wow. That is certainly a transformation, not only in just, like I say, from a business perspective and 2xing and doubling income, but I'm sure from her personal perspective, and if she has a family and all of that, get to enjoy her more and have her attention. So thank you for sharing that example. So we are here at the end of this particular episode. This conversation has been very insightful. Thank you, Yvonne, for your time. Can you tell us one more time about your business, who you serve, and how listeners can get in contact with you?
Sure. So I'm Yvonne Dam, and I work with driven business owners who are eager to grow their business to the next level, but specifically want to do so in less time. If you work with me, you in general, my clients in general, elevate their income by 30% and reduce their working hours by 20%. If you just want to have a talk with me, whatever topic, please reach out. I'm on LinkedIn. Or send me an email at yvonne@amazeyourself.com. Or comment underneath this video and I'll get back to you.
Well, you've certainly amazed me, Yvonne. I appreciate the time.
Thank
So
you.
as we wrap up, if you have to our audience, whether you are established listener or new listener, if you have questions or feel inspired to join the movement, please visit theoctopusmovement.org for more information. Remember, there is potential inside of each of you, and you should embrace your unique way of thinking and join the movement. I encourage you to do so. My name is Grant Harris. I am your host of the Octopus Movement Podcast. And until next time, keep thinking. Thank you.
Thank you.